Once again, we're caught in a massive tangle of what can only be described as political theater as the SAVE Act makes its way to the Senate floor for a vote, right on schedule, just months before the midterms. And of course, we already have a couple of Republican holdouts on the record, though they're hardly unusual suspects. Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Tom Tillis of North Carolina. Murkowski's record speaks for itself. She's long had one of the lowest party unity scores in the chamber. And while I'm not saying lawmakers should blindly toe the party line, I am saying the message from most voters on this issue couldn't be clearer. Polling consistently shows that roughly 2/3 of Americans support the SAVE Act. That reflects a broad instinct that at the very least our election rules should be tightened, even if the details spark political arguments. Supporters say the SAVE Act matters because our voter registration system still runs mostly on the honor system. People check a box saying they're a citizen, and in many states, that's the end of the verification process. That leaves room for mistakes and uncertainty about who's actually eligible to vote. There's no confirmed evidence of widespread illegal voting. Fine, I'll grant that. But some razor-thin elections have made people wonder how easily non-citizens could end up on the rolls, especially in states where the DMV automatically registers people or doesn't verify citizenship beyond a checkbox. The SAVE Act is designed to close those gaps so voters can feel confident that only eligible citizens are being added to the rolls. And yet, despite all the talk, despite the polling, despite the public pressure, we all know how this is likely to end. The bill probably won't pass, not because the votes aren't there among the public, but because the political incentives aren't there in Washington. Instead, we get a performance, a show of fighting for election integrity that conveniently lands right before campaign season, allowing certain lawmakers to say they tried without actually delivering anything. What I've said before still stands. Our elections are one of the most sacred things we have in this country. They matter, and they ought to matter to both sides. When people lose faith in the process, everything else starts to crack. And don't we all feel that on both sides, even just a little? Tell me what you think in the comments. This is a debate every American should be part of. Because the way I see it, tightening up the system isn't about helping one party or hurting another. It's about protecting something we all rely on. If Americans can't trust that the rules are clear, the roles are accurate, and only eligible citizens are participating, then even the best outcomes get questioned. Strengthening the guardrails is how you keep the foundation solid for everyone, no matter who they vote for. The problem really is the filibuster. Without it, we could get this thing passed, but there's been a strong resistance to change the rules. And look, I get it. I'm actually a bit of a fan of the current filibuster rule, and I've stated this before. To me, it offers a balance of power and an opportunity for both sides to come to the table on any piece of legislation and have their say, find loopholes, and identify problems so that solutions can be found to make bills better in the end for everyone. But the truth is, and I know I'll catch flack for saying this from the other side, but it's just the truth. The Democrats right now have one agenda and one agenda only, to oppose Trump. And so with that in mind, there's no reasonable expectation to have that the Democrats are even interested in a discussion. So what do you do in a situation like that? You simply reclaim your majority and let that majority decide what bills are important and get passed. It makes me wonder, and I think I'm not alone among my conservative friends, do the Republicans really want to pass the bill? Or again, is this all just another scene in a very long play? Because as it stands right now, the outcome is clear. It's already decided. We don't even have to go through all the tiring motions to know how this is going to end up. The bill isn't going to pass. All stop. The question isn't anymore, are you going to bring this up for a vote? It's what's the point of having the majority if we leave the keys in the hands of the minority to get anything done? And really, when it comes to the midterms, which is the real debate here, that's the question the voters are going to be asking. Because we all know already, the SAVE Act's in the toilet. We just haven't flushed it yet.